What might you say to a realtor who's struggling to figure out their niche or figure out like who they want to market to?
I would say being consistent, experiment, and just stay hungry. I think that's the main thing, is experimenting, studying the algorithm, studying what works and what doesn't work. If it's keywords, hashtags, trending audio, if it's funny videos, if it's informative videos, you getting in front of the camera and saying, hey, this is what $556,000 can get you in the state of Texas and Dallas area, whatever.
Welcome back to another episode of Simplifying Social Media. Today, I'm joined by Gene Carter, a new home sales consultant in Dallas, Texas. Thanks for joining us, Gene. Welcome to the pod.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to chat about your content. It's awesome, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So before we get started, just for context, can you tell the viewers a little bit about team size, production, just for context, and then we'll talk about social media.
So team size, based on what I do on a daily basis, I'm a one-man crew. I don't have any other people that, help me with editing or anything like that. So I came to Holland about 1.5 years ago, and I had a different form of marketing when I was working at another builder. And I basically came into this knowing that I had to kind of step my game up in the new home sales world. So I started doing a lot of content creation, watching a lot of people on the Instagram, YouTubes, and just different things of the nature. Went and bought a drone, did a gimbal, and I made my first video. And it was me basically acting like I was Ace Ventura off of Mission Impossible kind of vibe, jumping around the house. And I did my first form of editing, and it kind of took off from there. And I really enjoyed it. And there was some leaps and bounds to kind of get through that, but it was challenging at times because I didn't know how to make content. I really honestly just slapped a video on and just said, hey, here it is. And so after, looking through your stuff, looking through multiple realtors that have higher end content, or just in general, like higher followings, I kind of got the swivel of things and try to figure out like why my videos were not, taking off, because I was stuck in like the hundreds, couldn't even get over the 1,000 hump. And so it's just me, myself, and I just basically taking off with the general sense of studying other people's content, kind of figuring out what is working for me and what wasn't. And I made a video, it kind of went viral, and took off from there. And then I hit over the 10K hump after that.
I love that. Let's back up for just a second. So you are a solo agent, is that correct?
I am a new home sales rep. So I represent the builder, and I do not have a physical team underneath me besides my associate and my assistant that works directly with my builder. So I'm employed, owned by Highland Homes. And so I represent this franchise at Sonoma Verde. I do have other backlog that's in Waterscape and also in Montera, but I don't have a realtor license or anything like that. I just represent the builder directly.
I love that. Okay. And do they give you kind of free reign of what to do with your marketing?
I just have to take it in consideration because I represent a builder, and I have to be mindful about, not using cursing in my music, trying to be mindful because I target a family audience. Some of the times where buyers are coming in and, I can't use cursing or anything like that. I can't do anything that's inappropriate or derogatory in the sense of my social media. So I have to be mindful about that at times. And so, a trending song might have, a couple of curse words or inappropriate language. And so I just have to be aware about what I'm posting and such like that. So there is a fine line of understanding of like what I can and cannot post. And it's just using common sense at that same time frame.
Mm-hmm. This is really interesting because I feel like you have a built-in niche of these new homes in this specific neighborhood just by what you are, like you're employed by them, right? So you have, I would almost view it as kind of an upper hand because those realtors have kind of free reign of what they can do and what they can choose to sell or buy or however they want to structure their business. And that can hinder them in their marketing because they have so many options. What might you say to a realtor who's struggling to figure out their niche or figure out like who they want to market to?
I host realtor classes, and I would tell realtors and it's just for social media. And I've had them come in and just ask me like how I edit and stuff. And some of the feedback I would give them is that, here. I had a realtor function just a month ago, and somebody came in and they were like, hey man, I pray my hat's off to you because you only have one model home right now to show, and you have to be creative about what you do. And so I've done in the past couple of weeks transition shots of, someone falling through a warehouse floor, or, someone getting kicked or punched in the face or falling off a bicycle. You just have to get creative with it. Now in the realtor market, there's a wider range of homes that you can be able to go to and say, hey, if it's from starter homes all the way up to $1 million homes, I feel like there's a wider range of target audience, and you have to just find your niche and what works for you. And the same thing for me. I had to go through that leaps and bounds of what works, and posting content of homes wasn't really clicking with me, and I wasn't getting a lot of engagement until I started doing stuff that had educational purposes or had basically just funny stuff. And so when I started targeting the educational and the funny side of things with my reels, that's when things started really taking off for me. And so some realtors can get away with, doing $1 million homes and showing the listings and getting tons of views and getting tons of leads. And then some can get where they're showing starter homes and it's like down payment assistance and the FHA program is this, and that might target that audience. And so realtors that are struggling in the sense of, social media content, I would say, take a week or two, maybe even a month, and kind of just dive in of, hey, going a week full of, doing educational videos where it's like you're showing off $1 million home and it's like, what would be the down payment for it? Also go to a starter home and then showing what the FHA down payment assistance could be and such. Or, doing educational content of, hey, did you know that if you're spending this amount a month of money on rent, then this is going to lead to 5 years where you're, dropping $180,000 and it's going nowhere towards your pockets, but to your landlord. Just kind of, dictating that process of what your content can be and finding that niche, because I had to do it. And when I tell other Highland Home sales reps of like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what overall is going to target to your audience. And you need to figure out what your niche is. Because if I'm in Mustang Lakes and I'm showing a product line, that could be huge because people are attracted to, big homes naturally. And they get a lot of content views and engagement. So it just depends on your niche and it depends on what you're trying to target for the audience. But I feel like experimenting is the biggest thing, and trying to see what takes off and what doesn't, and really pay attention to your engagement board. Because sometimes people kind of just start going off the hinges and just start posting stuff. But if you're doing it and you're not getting results, it's like you're just doing it just to do it, and it's just in vain. So
that was the biggest thing I was hearing you say, is just trying things. Yeah. And then when you see it catch, that's when you see little hints of like, okay, this is working. Let's try more of this. This is not working. Let's take that out, type of thing.
Yeah. Cause I had, it was about 8 months into my social media. I started this I was officially my own sales account. So back in January of last year, it was around like 1,819 followers and such. And I started up in like October timeframe officially, where I came onto Highland and I was like marketing Highland, marketing myself. And it was really hard because I had to go through that 4 months of transition of training and such. And so when I started officially last year in January, I was just doing houses. And like I said, when you're in the realtor game and you can go to all these different homes and all these different neighborhoods and all these different builders, it's easy to target to that audience. But when you have a certain amount of homes to show, it's really hard to, broadcast it to your audience, because over time it's going to get redundant. And so in that 8 months time frame, I could post a house maybe 4 to 5 times a week because I'm down to my final opportunities. So over time, it was getting stagnant. And that's where I was still doing the same stuff. And I wasn't doing what I'm doing here. Because like last year at this time frame, if I had nothing to show, I'll be pretty burnt out, doing pictures or carousels and stuff like that. And trying to figure out engagement ideas. But now it's, hey, how can I get someone to buy at Highland? And it's doing different things of the nature of transitioning, showing me, showing the community, showing the product line, even if it's the smallest thing as a freestanding tub. And so getting that vibe of trying to showcase that, I think that's the main thing, is experimenting. And when I started figuring that out, it went from the hundreds and the real views to in the thousands. And eventually I started getting to points of where I was eclipsing over 10,000. And so it's just figuring that out. And once you do, it really just takes off.
What kind of engagement are you seeing the most of that is like really taking off in your content?
I think lately, because these transition shots have really been, a lot of people are really wanting to see me do goofy stuff. I think when I do real educational and funny stuff on my reels, it really just takes off. When I get super serious, and I feel like when I'm walking through the house, showcasing the house, it's not necessarily redundant because Highland builds an amazing product line. I just feel like my audience and the content that I'm creating, if I'm trying to get someone to come and feel comfortable with me, I have a strong presence, and I say that in the most modest way possible, but I want to make sure that my audience, based on any buyers, leads, prospects, realtors, they feel comfortable with me when they come into the home, and they know that I'm, goofy and I'm really subtle and down to earth. So posting content that's more educational and just hilarious stuff, I feel like that can really target to my audience a lot better than if I'm showcasing, hey, this is what my home will be at a price of this. And at Highland, we really don't want to broadcast price because, with our product line, the quality, the luxury, and the value, people know what they're buying. And so it's a product line that upholds to it. So, Porsche doesn't showcase their prices, Mercedes or anything of the nature of the higher end car dealerships with like a Maserati or a Lamborghini. So with us, it's kind of the same vibe. We want to make sure that we're presenting the quality, the luxury, and the value, and why our standard features are so much better than the average builder. And so with me coming into play, it's trying to showcase me as my sales rep skills, or why my educational, hey, doing this instead of, renting, or making a goofy video where I'm falling through, but I'm showcasing my entertainment room. And so when I break those down, it really helps me out with content too over time, because if I showed my model over time, it's going to get stagnant, redundant, and people are going to just check out after a while.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, how many sales reps are there?
Oh, there's tons. So with us at Highland, we're located in the DFW, Dallas and Fort Worth market. We're north, south, and east and west. So over probably close to 80 to 100 agents just in the DFW market. And then we also have Houston, San Antonio, and then Austin. So, I mean, we're a private home builder. So we're not like a corporate builder that you're going to see that is national or anything like that. So we have roughly just around 1,000 employees, or just a little bit more, but we're one of the largest private home builders in Texas. And so we have a lot of reputation for being People's Choice Builder of the Year. We won that 10 times, basically, of that award. And then we just recently in DFW, we won Best Luxury Home Builder and then Best Home Builder in DFW as well. So
do you have almost like two jobs, like with your content? You're showcasing the listings, obviously, the beautiful homes and things like that. But then you're also having to build this brand of yourself and getting the realtors comfortable with you to choose you, which is very interesting. Go ahead.
It's super competitive. And at the time when you're trying to separate yourself from another builder, I tell people all the time, this is two jobs. And when you just said that, I totally agree with you, because over time, it can be really difficult trying to figure out what content to post and trying to make sure that you're still staying on top of, selling a lot of homes. And I bumped into a new home sales rep at the corporate office, and he was trying to pick up a social media game. And he was like, I just don't know what to post. And I was like, you can do B-roll content. And it's the super simplest things I've ever of you typing on the keyboard, having a cup of coffee in the kitchen, sitting down at the chair in the fireplace and pretending you're reading a book, and you post content of, hey, you bought in and you did a 3-2-1 buy down and you used closing costs from us and we helped you save money on a payment. It's simple things, but it's also trying to be stepping out of the box and be a little bit different with the marketing. And this is where the age and generation is going. I'm 36, but I know that this train is leaving, and social media is the route to go. And for marketing, my boss was basically telling me back in his day where people would look through magazines. This is what the day and age is. We're looking through magazines, but it's on social media. And so staying on top of my brands and building my brands to where people feel more comfortable with me is challenging at times, because I still have a job. I still have a family. I'm trying to navigate, trying to figure out things on my For You page of like what's trending right now, and what songs are trending, trying to stay on top of that. Because one day something's trending, and the next day, maybe two days later, it's not trending anymore. Same thing with music. And so you just have to figure out that bubble, building the brand, but also helping realtors come to you and figuring out that niche, but also trying to sell homes at the same time. It could be taxing at times.
Definitely. And I always tell my clients, like, we didn't know when we were in school, like, video editing was going to be the skill that we needed to be proficient in
so true.
when we were older. So what apps or what tips do you have for agents who are like, I literally don't know how to edit a video? Like, where do I get started?
I'm still learning. I follow a ton of content creators that use CapCut, and I'm trying to figure out, just different ways of, transitions. I'm still learning with that. If you go back to my first drone video that I used, I was shooting in horizontal mode, and it took me 3 months to figure out, like, why are my videos, black to black? And it was just showing the horizontal piece. And it took me almost 4 months to figure out I was shooting in horizontal, and I needed to turn the camera into vertical mode. And so that right there was something that took time. And, it's kind of a dumb moment, but at the same time, it's like, it's that experimenting of, trying to figure it out. Shooting in 4K, shooting in highest media quality possible. Those things took time. And I had dark content where my videos weren't, really picture perfect or really bright and nice. And that took time as well too. So going back to my first couple of videos, it was a learning curve. And the main apps that I use are CapCut. I use Captions, and then also Canva at times when I'm posting like different things for like posts or carousels, or YouTube thumbnails for like my move-in ready homes or inventory in general. I'm using those three apps the time frame. And so it's Canva, CapCut, and Captions to summarize that all.
Love it. And what platforms are you posting on currently?
So TikTok has been a love-hate relationship because things can take off on Instagram, and then on TikTok it's just I'm still trying to figure out that niche. And so YouTube a lot, so I can be able to post like my walkthrough videos. I don't do a lot of content where I'm talking because I feel, in my sense of where I'm representing the builder, I just want to showcase our beautiful homes. So YouTube, I do a lot of walkthroughs, but I do post my Instagram reels on YouTube as well. Just kind of a case in point, I try not to keep the watermarks on there. I try to keep watermarks off and keep the separation of all the different social media platforms. So if I'm doing TikTok, I don't take the TikTok watermark and put it on YouTube or anything like that. So I keep everything in its own platform. And then LinkedIn, I do that because majority of my company is on there, so they can be able to see my marketing skills. And then Facebook is more for, my realtor database in this general area. And then I kind of approach the Instagram based on the worldly platform, because somebody saw my video going viral in Jamaica. And so I feel like Instagram is a broader range, of course, because it's on a broader spectrum. Facebook is kind of like your area around maybe in a DFW market, maybe in 50 miles radius, 100 mile radius. I feel like TikTok is a broader range as well too, if you can be able to find the niche and how it works for you. And then YouTube as well for the platform of podcasts, walkthroughs. And it's what works best for the buyer or with the realtor standpoint.
So you're posting videos on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. Yeah. Pictures, videos, every single, because my standpoint is, and what people have told me is that not a lot of new home salespeople are doing what I'm doing. And so I kind of took that and proudly said, like, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to, crush it. And when LinkedIn came around on my platform of like, well, do I want to post stuff and keep it, kind of professional, or just, say, hey, I just switched jobs. My dynamic is that if my management is on there, they can see how my marketing is and how I am getting into the marketing wide of buyers and realtors and getting them to capture my audience. Because majority of my feed on LinkedIn is going to be my management team from my company, but also there's a lot of realtors that are connected with me as well too. So I do post a lot of videos and also reels. So I basically just take my reel, copy the link, download it, and then slap it on to LinkedIn, and then do that as well. My thing is that more marketing, more avenues knocked out, the more people can see my content and be able to engage with me as a person. But one thing that I try to do with my link tree is get everything to come back to that source of me at Highland, me at my product line, and then buying from me at my community.
Yeah. Is there one platform you feel has been bringing in more leads than others?
Absolutely. Instagram. Now, YouTube is coming on slowly, though. There was one lead that came on. Now, I'm not on, some realtors levels where they're bringing in multiple leads. And I know with my small following that, I'm producing maybe 1 to 2 leads every month, 3 to 4 every quarter. But what I do really well is represent Highland as the marketing piece, that in the sense of when someone is needing something, if it's not me, I have always told realtors, reach out to me and say, hey, I'm looking for so-and-so for so-and-so price, and I need to be in this area. And I direct them directly where they need to be. And one of my fellow colleagues that's in the community, he calls me the lead generator because I'm constantly bringing leads to him that from my former community, like Montera. It's crazy that, people will reach out and say, hey, are you still there? And I'm like, no, I'm unfortunately not. I'm at Sonoma Verde. And they're like, hey, I actually have a buyer there. Can you help me? And I patch them through with that. Or if it's Waterscape with my other colleague and such. So I'm really good at helping people find what they need to be finding based on the community at Highland, the buyer, based on the price point and such. But I really do believe that Instagram is probably my main function of getting leads and being able to produce buyers. And I approach it like a CRM too. Like I do cool construction updates weekly basis, and not a lot of other new home salespeople from what I've seen does that. So I take my drone and I create these mini reels of the construction updates from the ground up to when they receive their keys. So it creates this montage video where they can see from the ground up kind of vibe of their home being built out. And then I send it over to them to show what that video looks like. And it's cool too, because the realtors can see that. The buyers are engaged. It keeps them attached to where they're wanting to buy and commit to the home. But it's also cool because the communication, the customer service is there, and they know that with me, they're going to get a great product line. They're going to get great customer service and communication, and they're going to get taken care of to the most, highly esteemed possible here. With Instagram, I feel like across the board, lead generation wise, or just getting, any type of feedback from a Highlands perspective from a different community, that's the best route for me. Have you,
how do I want to ask that? Like, how much time are you spending weekly on creating content, would you say?
So, back in the day, I would definitely tell you it was a long time. It took me a while to figure things out. So I would sit there, and one time it took me hours to get this one reel down. I've gotten to the habit to where, and I don't say this like, I can literally post a reel or do a construction update, like the fast, slow transition videos. I'm now at the point to where I can knock that out. I'm not saying while driving, but I'm just saying I can create the reel really quick now. So if it's a reel, like I made the Mission Impossible video with me running around like it was a Mission Impossible trailer. And that probably would have been a good 45 hour back in the day when I first started. Took under 10 minutes to do. And so I've just gotten to the point to where CapCut, the database from how it's the user standpoint, it's just super easy to use. And I just post the content, start editing, doing the color grading, and then doing the transitions. And I just understand it. And I've tried every other app. I've tried Splice, Video Leap, InShot. CapCut to me is just something that has been super easy to use, and I feel because of that, it has helped me grow and to where I can knock out a Instagram reel or a construction update probably within 5 minutes of time frame. It's not hard at all. But I would tell you in a general week, it would take me, my wife would tell you probably about a couple of hours per week. Yeah.
But it's worth it, right? Because you are, developing a piece of content that you're posting across 5 or 6 platforms. Let's say even if none of them go viral, quote unquote viral, you get 200 views across 5 platforms. That's 1,000 views. I mean, how much would that have cost you to mail out or whatever 1,000 mailers? I mean, I love that.
So I came from door-to-door sales before I came into new home sales. And this is the one thing that I don't understand if you are not using social media is it is free residual marketing. It just continuously goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And I have people that are viewing stuff from a year ago, and they literally ask me, hey, do you still have this? My YouTube? I feel like I'm marketing for another community because I still have content that is from my other community that people will reach out about and say, is this still available? This is something that takes me now zero time because I've adapted to it. But at the beginning, it is a little learning curve and it takes time. But if you can master it, it becomes residual marketing because people can go on your platform, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, and they can scroll down and just look at the stuff that you're posting. And if they see something they like, they can say, I like that house. Well, is that still available? No, unfortunately, it's not. You know, that's a couple months back, but I do have something of that nature now here, and it's all free. And I don't know why people wouldn't take advantage of that, because you're right. Mass mailing, doing marketing flyers, that takes forever. And then door-to-door knocking of 200 people in a day. You can't get 200 people in a day unless you start from, 8 to 6 or 8 to 8 and getting 200 knocks. And still, you have to account for the time that you talk to the customer. So knocking out 200 people and getting 200 views or 200 people to look at your content, back in the day, 200 people, I would take those odds all day. But now, because my posts are getting in the thousands and tens of thousands and people can be able to see and my engagement has gone up, I just don't understand why people wouldn't take advantage of that, because it's free and it's residual and it continuously just goes and goes and goes.
I made this post and I'm probably going to mess this up, but I was like, take your average or your old school business card and make it shareable, taggable, interactive, able to add video and something else. And let's call it Instagram.
Right. Absolutely. I do agree. Because these are mini commercials, as my manager would put it. You're presenting yourself. The buyer feels comfortable from the realtor's perspective. Let's say realtor posts a video and they walk up and they're saying, hey guys, so-and-so house is available in so-and-so community. Come and take a look at it. Pricing starts from 430s. Fantastic. Perfect. Boom. They showcase the house. Then the realtor comes back out and it's like, tax rate, HOA is this. Come buy from me. Whatever attraction, whatever appeal, whatever vibe that the buyer felt from the realtor, from just first standpoint of looking at that video, they connect, male, female, whatever. And they sit there and say, I like X person. I like them. I want to buy from them. I want to use them as my realtor. I like that house. Is there another house that they have that's available, that's move-in ready or buildable? And these are mini commercials. And then in today's day and age, a lot of people are still watching TV, but I'll tell you, everybody's on social media. And your For You page, if you can be able to get that on there and get the view count up, it takes as stupid as a video of me getting hit by a car and falling in my living room, my family space, and getting the attraction. And it's so simplistic, and that's got 20,000 views. Now, I know it's not millions or anything like that, but that's 20 more thousand people that have seen my product line, my family, my fireplace, my ceiling height, my hutch space, my dining, and then also my kitchen. I would take 20 more thousand views than just sitting here and not doing anything. And that's what the vibe is. You just have to understand that it's a day-to-day grind. Some people might watch, some people won't. So what? And move on. You just continuously do it. It's just a grind. You have to constantly do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that your whole story or your whole testimony is like, it's a slow build, slow burn, and it's a learning curve, but it's exponential, and you get going and you fail forward and you get better as you go. It's not going to be perfect when you start, but it's worth it tenfold when you get going. I've had my account for 3+ years and I've posted on it, if not every single day, almost every single day for 3+ years. And that's when you get the results that you're looking for. And, people want the results overnight, and it can happen. It's very, very rare.
Right.
And you need to be looking at the long game versus the short game when it comes to social media marketing, because if you want to really build that solid like presence that's going to get like those leads coming in on a daily basis, you're going to have to put in the work.
Absolutely.
Every day, you know, week over week, month over month, year over year.
Right. I totally agree, because I've seen realtors, you know, take off 1 year in, they're already over 100,000 followers. And I'm sitting there like, man, what did I do wrong? But that's their path. And you kind of have to understand that, you know, some people have been doing it for a while. Some people have been doing it for a short time. And it's rare to sit there and say, okay, well, they hit the success really fast and boom, they just took off. And it's okay, but that's their path. What your path is basically what I can identify as staying consistent. And whoever X realtor is, they don't have to make a video and say, hey, this has got to be super perfect. All it's got to be is just consistent. You take, you know, video A, B, and C, and D, and E, and you say, hey, I'm going to post this over Monday through Friday. And you just got to take it for what it is. And people got to think that they got to reinvent the wheel, and it's not. You just got to put yourself in front of the camera, be comfortable, overcome any type of insecurity that you have in front of the camera, and just say, you know, to heck with it. I'm just going to post, and I'm just going to, you know, knock it out of the ballpark. And who cares about screw ups? You know, that's trending right now, where it's behind the scenes of like mess ups and mistakes. And you have to just take it for what it is. And nothing's perfect, and you have to just slowly grind with it. And that's just what the vibe of is social media is. And I understand it's a numbers game, and some people might take it into instant gratification mode immediately, that they have to hit 1 million followers or have X post. And I try to convey that message to my fellow colleagues at Highland that, hey, what I'm doing, it's just a small smidgen of what the grand scheme is. But I know it may look like I'm doing a really great job, but to others, I feel like I'm not doing enough, or not producing enough, or getting enough views. But that's my own head saying that. But others might look at me and say, wow, you're doing a fantastic job. But it's the little things that count. And that little things are just posting consistently once a day and seeing what that does.
Just being the person who doesn't stop. Like, that's always what's gotten me far in my career, whatever. You know, I'm a retired 8th grade teacher, and now I'm a business owner. And the only thing that has gotten me far in my career is I just never give up. That's the only thing. Like, I'm not better than anyone else. I just never give up. And I think that's a quality that it's a mindset game too. You know, it's, you have to be mentally strong in order to be the person to do something every single day. Absolutely. You have to be mentally strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's end with just a good to know, or something that you like to share with realtors when it comes to lead generation on social media.
I would say the number one thing is just being consistent, because my standpoint, and I was talking to another realtor about this the other day, is that, you know, my route in social media is a lot more different from the realtor's perspective, because I have to find the niche of the buyer that is liking my product line. They have to like Sonoma Verde. They have to like Rockwall County, Rockwall City with Rockwall ISD schools. They have to like that. They have to like the product line that I'm selling. But from a realtor's perspective, trying to find leads offline, if it's from Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you can go anywhere and everywhere and say around the DFW Metroplex and say, hey, I'm going to target Highlands. I'm going to target other builders. I'm going to say, I'm going to go here and there and there. I can be a Highlands direct. I want to just work directly with Highland and say, I want to go to Mustang Lakes. I want to go to Montera. I want to go to Sonoma Verde. I want to go here and there and there. I love Highland. I want to be kind of a realtor for them. You can go anywhere and everywhere, right? And represent any community and say, hey, I'm going to use this product line here. And buyers can say, I like that community, or I like you as my realtor, but I'm not a fan of the area. Can we go somewhere else? I'm looking elsewhere because my family's here. That's the beauty of being the realtor standpoint of having a product that is wide array everywhere. And that's where you have to take the mindset of, you know, kind of that tunnel vision and just broadcast it over a large net over DFW and experiment with it. And so studying the algorithm, studying what works and what doesn't work, if it's keywords, hashtags, trending audio, if it's funny videos, if it's informative videos, you getting in front of the camera and saying, hey, this is what $556,000 can get you in the state of Texas and Dallas area, whatever. You have to figure out what works for you on your niche and run with it. And then once you run with it and you can no longer run anymore, then you start walking because you're tired. You just have to figure out what's not working anymore. And I'm talking about like, if your videos are not clicking or hitting anymore, you have to figure out that niche again. And so it's just constantly adapting and being a pioneer in your world and what the navigation is. But it's always going to come back to being consistent and then experimenting from different communities from around the area. So if it's in Rockwall, or if it's in Dallas, or if it's in Fort Worth, Aubrey, Frisco, Waxahachie, wherever. So you just have to continuously know of like your buyer profile is always looking at you when you don't think they are, and they're wanting to find out the product line that really clicks with them. It may not be us as the builder, it may be another builder, but when you find that builder that works for them, that's why it's so much different for me, is because I have to find that target audience that likes my product line. Once they do, from the buyer's perspective to the realtor, they can go anywhere and everywhere, and they can be able to find the product line that connects with the buyer. And that's what the beauty is of social media comes into play, because they can go anywhere and they can be able to target that audience from a wide array of things. So I would say being consistent, experiment, and just stay hungry and constantly just know each and every day presents its own vibe of the buyer's perspective of who's looking at it, because you don't know who's looking at your profile and who's engaging with you or not.
Yeah, the adapting is huge because, I feel like a lot of my clients are so terrified to choose a quote unquote niche.
Right.
But
right.
Your niche adapts with you as you grow and move and shake through your marketing and your career. And it's not set in stone. Like you can change as you go. So I love that advice. So where can everybody find you?
I'm in Sonoma Verde in Rockwall, Texas, and Rockwall County, and I have Rockwall SD schools. I'm located east of Dallas off of 30 and south of 30 on 205. And I'm in a town called McLennan Chisholm. And so it's a town of about a couple of thousand people. It's a small town. It's technically Rockwall, but we're right off that cusp there. We have great schools. We have a great tax rate. On our 60-foot lots, we're starting from the 430s. And then my 70-foot lots, I'm starting from the 530s right now. And we have newer plans in our 60-foot lots. And then we have premium lots, oversized there, backed up to Greenbelt on my 70s. So we have a great product line. We've already sold 11 in the last month and a half here. So getting in earlier within the new phase and catching that equity is so huge, because today I'm technically taking the price increase, and then next Friday I'm as well too, due to the increased sales. And I say that in the most modest possible way, but it's just best to get in earlier than later.
Love it. Thanks so much for your time.
Of course, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Simplifying Social Media. Let's stay connected on Instagram at REALTORS Social Media Marketing. And if you're interested in working with me, head over to thesimpletouches.com and see all my social media marketing services for real estate agents. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.